Week 3 discussion. For my second personal aesthetic portfolio art, I chose a piece titled End of the Trail, created in 1891 by James Earl Fraser. The artwork is a small bronze statue that has become a powerful symbol of the experiences of Native people during westward expansion. Um, to begin with a formal analysis, the sculpture shows a native man slumped forward on a tired, thin horse. The rider's body language communicates exhaustion, defeat, or even deep sorrow. Um, his head hangs low, his shoulders are slumped. The horse mirrors the same exhaustion. Um, with his head lowered and his stance showing fatigue. Even though the bronze has a very dark, almost uniform value throughout the piece, the details still stand out. The contrast in the surface texture highlights the contours of the man, the horse, and their clothing and features, which draws your eye right to the emotional center of the sculpture, the rider. Um, the movement of the sculpture is subtle but intentional. The angle of the spear, the downward tilt of both the rider and the horse, and the way their forms curve forward all lead your eye to the expression of defeat. The texture of the bronze also contributes to the meaning. Bronze is heavy, strong material, and that weight seems to mirror the heavy subject matter, the burden carried by Native American people during the westward expansion era. Um, what I've noticed about my personal aesthetic from looking at multiple artworks so far is I'm drawn to pieces that tell stories or communicate emotion. Art that makes me pause and reflect really captures my attention. I think coming straight out of a history class influenced how I looked at this artwork because I had the historical context fresh in my mind. I approached the piece differently than I might have otherwise. Instead of just admiring the technique, I found myself thinking deeply about the story behind it. This piece is not just visually striking, it also carries strong cultural and historical context. The statue is a commentary of the damage that westward expansion and Euro American settlement influence upon Native people. Fraser grew up in the Dakota Territory and personally witnessed the struggles and devastation natives faced, which strongly shaped his perception and came out in his artwork. The title End of the Trail speaks volumes. It suggests a sense of finality, loss, and the fear that an entire culture might not survive. Um, it makes you wonder what Native people at the time felt. Did they believe they had reached the end of their journey, their land, their identity, or even their future? The way someone interprets this artwork can greatly be influenced by their own knowledge, background, and personal experience. For example, someone who learned about westward expansion and the impact of U.S. policies on Native tribes might feel sorrow or empathy when viewing the sculpture. Others might see it simply as a historic or patriotic symbol without fully understanding the cultural pain behind it. People with Native heritage or who have personal ties to the topic might experience a deeper emotional connection. Um, even the time period which a person views this artwork matters. Today, more people recognize it as a representation of loss and injustice, whereas in earlier decades, it was often seen only as a symbol of uh, the closing of the frontier, if you will.